as Joseph was in charge of everything in in Potiphar's house. That included his wife, who was in the house, making sure that she was okay. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we know about Potiphar's wife. Have you ever heard the term trophy wife? Well, powerful men sometimes have trophy wives. And they're there for sometimes not so much love, but the wrong reasons. And Potiphar's wife, who was in the house, and Potiphar was often gone. He wasn't there. He was gone for days. Joseph was a young man. Joseph was a strong man, probably a very good-looking man. And Potiphar's wife was used to getting what she wanted. Can you dot the dots right here, kind of connect them, and see what I'm telling you? The Bible tells us that every day she called to Joseph and realized that Joseph, he was required to serve her. He couldn't just ignore her. He couldn't just avoid her. If she wanted something, if she had needs, if she had different things, he was required to serve. And every day she called to him and she beckoned to him, probably a very attractive woman. And she said, Joseph, come here. Lie with me. Lie with me. Nobody's going to know. He's not going to know. He's gone for days. Come here, Joseph. And you can imagine. And that's one thing that we have to understand along the way. You know, God will give you some success along the way to your big dream. Some of you think you've already reached your dream. You haven't reached it. You're not even close. There's much more. You think you've reached, like Joseph may have thought, he's reached something pretty exciting. People respect him. He's the head of the household. He wasn't even close to the fulfillment of the total dream that God had for him. This was just a shadow of it. This was just a part of it. Some of you, you think you're done. You're not done. There's so much more. There's so much bigger. Don't settle for the small stuff that you've already accomplished. There's more out there. And so, but with some success and with some power, have you been there, comes temptation. Temptation. And we start to think of ourselves as being a big shot. We start to think of ourselves as being accomplished. We start to believe our own headlines and what people say about us. Oh, look at Joseph. Such a respected man that even Potiphar himself allows him to be in control of all the household. And then the temptation. The temptation comes to cheat. The temptation comes to lust. The temptation comes to think that we're bigger than the original call that God has given us. And to forget that it was God who has blessed us. And it's God who has put us there. And she came to Joseph every single day. Can you imagine? Let me ask you, men out there, you're listening to this, what would you do? If this beautiful woman came to you every single day, what would you do? And it says, verse 39, chapter 39, verse 5, from then on, because of Joseph, the Lord blessed the household of the Egyptian, everything that he had in his house and in his fields. Things were going great. Life was good. Hey, some of you in the beginning of 2020, life was good. Thinking, wow, I got the job that I want. Everything's going well. I'm going to make some plans now for the rest of the year. I'm going to start saving some money in the bank. I'm going to pay off a few things. I'm going to look maybe towards some vacation funds. I'm going to start, working on some things that I wanted to work on. And then all of a sudden, bam, kick in the face. But maybe you've risen up, and now the temptations come. You know what the Bible tells us? Before we get on to the rest of the story here. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, no temptation has overtaken you, but that which is common to man. And God is faithful, who will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation he will always provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. Oh, there's always a way of escape. The question is whether you take it or not. So, Genesis chapter 39, verses 7 to 12 tells us that when Joseph went into the house, for what reason did he go into the house? It tells you right here. He went into the house to do his work. Yeah, he was doing his job. He was doing what he was supposed to do. And none of the men of the house was inside. Uh-oh. I wonder if that was a coincidence. I doubt it. She caught him. There were no witnesses. She caught him. She literally grabbed him by the garment, saying, lie with me. Now, why had Joseph, we didn't put this scripture up, but why had Joseph resisted her temptations? The same reason that you should resist yours. He said, how can I do this thing? I am the master's servant. How can I sin against him and against my God? Joseph was an upright man of integrity. And it wasn't that he wasn't tempted. It wasn't that she wasn't beautiful. It wasn't that he didn't feel the temptation. But his commitment to the path, his commitment to the call, his commitment to staying on course, his commitment to being the man that God wanted him to be was above the commitment and the temptation to sin.